Few characters in the Star Wars Expanded Universe have consistently demanded the attention that Grand Admiral Thrawn has. Since his introduction to the Star Wars Expanded Universe in 1991's Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn, fans have loved the character and looked forward to every appearance in whatever medium he shows up in. There's a reason he's one of few characters who was able to break through from the old Legends universe to the new canon. Since Disney's acquisition of the Star Wars franchise, Thrawn has shown up in several different mediums, including his own trilogy of canon books as well as the Star Wars Rebels TV show. And after reading through the first book in the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy by Timothy Zahn, we can confirm that the hype is well deserved. Chaos Rising features an incredible cast of characters, a rich and deep storyline, and a world as expansive as anything that's been introduced into the Star Wars Expanded Universe. And I mean, come on, blue pages? Hi everyone, I'm Nathan Emery, content creator here at Youtini, and I'm going to take you through this first book in the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy by Timothy Zahn and see what our review team thought about it. But first, let's hear a quick message from the sponsor of today's video. This video is brought to you by Audible. If you've never listened to a Star Wars audiobook before, you're seriously missing out. The production quality is unmatched, and every member of Youtini will tell you that Star Wars audiobooks are truly of a fantastic quality. And here's the best part. If you use Youtini's link to sign up, your first book is completely free. That's right, if you head on over to youtini.com/audible or at the link in the description down below, you can sign up for a free trial of Audible and get your book free with no strings attached. You can even use that credit to get Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising in audiobook form, which I personally, as well as several other members of the Youtini team, can attest to the quality of. It's really great, just as everything we've come to expect from Star Wars audiobooks. And now let's get back to the book. So we've got an expert team of reviewers at Youtini who get a copy of the book early, read through it, give some of their honest thoughts, and based off the thoughts of multiple reviewers, as well as their scores, we compile a review that we believe is as representative of the different views of the team as possible. And our scores are divided into several different categories to help you really understand where the book might excel and where it kind of just falls in the middle. Now, our reviewers aren't paid to do this, so they're just doing it out of a love of Star Wars books and the expanded universe, which means we're going to come to you as honest as possible. Although most Star Wars books are great, and so you'll find that our reviews generally tend to be really positive and uplifting, kind of showing the best parts of the book and touching on all of its strengths. Ultimately, we hope that the review will be helpful in understanding whether Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising is something for you to pick up and whether it's something to get excited. So with that said, let's dive into it. First, we'll get into the plot. So from the start, Chaos Rising is bifurcated into both present day chapters as well as memory chapters that kind of dig into how the Myth family reached its current controversial pride. So currently in the timeline, Thrawn and his people, the mighty Chiss Ascendancy, are facing a threat from an unknown source that kind of threatens to unravel the power of the Chiss Ascendancy. So in the memory portions of the novel, we kind of see Thrawn's rise to power within the Ascendancy from the position of several different characters, including old friends, as well as political rivals. So the intersection of past and present could be difficult for some writers, but in the hands of Zahn, it's masterfully handled. Zahn has written Thrawn for 3 decades now, and in the past, some of our reviewers have kind of struggled with the more technical aspects of Thrawn-related novels, but this book really overcomes that by focusing on both Thrawn's battle against the villains and kind of digging deep into characters and not so much into the technical aspects of warfare or of his strategies. This kind of variety in tone allows the reader to really get into the character of Thrawn without getting bogged down by all the technical details that have been in some of his previous books. In addition, the overall plot of Chaos Rising is one of discovery. So Thrawn is discovering how to fight outside threats, and various characters are discovering their positions within the Chiss Ascendancy. Will our characters choose power, friendship, influence, sacrifice? All of these things are questions we face throughout the book and really get us invested in these characters. And since Chaos Rising is the first book in a trilogy, you don't necessarily get all the answers. But man, you'll be screaming for them as you close the book's final cover. So overall, our team at Youtini gives plot an 8.0. Now let's move on to characters. So one of Thrawn's signature literary flaws has always been his tendency to kind of be indestructible. Now this made him a great adversary to Luke, Leia, Han, characters like that in the original Legends universe. However, subsequent additions to canon have kind of lost a little bit of that due to the lack of stakes that the canon books have created. Chaos Rising takes that formula and pushes it to another stage of literary evolution. So the Thrawn of Chaos Rising is a character of undeniable genius, sure, but he's also kind of in that state of discovery that we mentioned earlier. So we see Thrawn as kind of a master tactician, but also going through this journey where he's learning about his friends, kind of the world he lives in, and how to navigate it. So these revelations that Thrawn is undergoing allow us to view the future Grand Admiral in a vulnerable state that we kind of don't ever get to see him in. The conversations between Thrawn and Ar'alani in the past and Thrawn and Thalias in the current sections really show this side of Thrawn that you can just tell Zahn has been waiting to tell for years. While he is calculating and efficient, he's never cold or cruel. This is a man who is learning to play a game that he never knew existed, and sometimes he kind of puts his political aspirations on hold in favor of helping out his friends or companions. Those allies also have plenty of opportunity to shine as Zahn populates the novel with new characters in a way he really hasn't before. Chief among these new additions is Thalias, a myth family adopted who acts as a guide and a mentor to a young Skywalker. And if that's not one of the most Zahn lines you've ever heard, I don't know what is. So Thalias' relationship to Cherie also adds a new element to Zahn's writing that we don't always see, which is tenderness. So amid all of the kind of mind-blowing militaristic sequences, we see this level of vulnerability as this child is learning to deal with the galaxy and take on some almost impossible tasks. Of course, though, a wonderfully competent team of protagonists calls for an equally fearsome antagonist, and Zahn writes one of his best. It's Yiv the Benevolent, leader of the subtly dangerous Nikardan. Now, Yiv presents Thrawn with a challenge he has yet to face, an intellectual equal. Watching the two men verbally assault each other with decorum and class is something we haven't seen in Star Wars yet, and it's a delight to read. Then again, this book is full of things we haven't yet seen in the Star Wars Expanded Universe. So our team here at Youtini loved the characters of this book, giving it a 9.3 for characters. Now let's move on to originality. This book features an incredible volume of mythology, something that we haven't really seen before in canon. Even before you hit the first page, you get an outline of the characters, yes, but also the Chiss Ascendancy and so much more about the world of this book. It's clear that Timothy Zahn had an absolute blast creating the first book in this trilogy, and that passion bleeds through to the reader from every page. We learn about the ways that Chiss families are created through audition and selection. We learn about the inner workings of the Chiss military through its dealings with the chaos. We see new galaxies, new characters, new worlds, things we've never seen before in a Star Wars book in such high volume. To be honest, we at Youtini could read 3 books just on the history of Chiss families. And you know, I think we just might. Zahn combines the political and familial dynamics of Game of Thrones with the technical creativity of The Expanse. Now Zahn is clearly unbounded in his creativity in creating the world in which the Chiss reside, and the result is one of the most ambitious, creative Star Wars novels to date. Zahn really excels here. So again, our team thought really highly of the originality of this book, giving it a rating of 9.7 out of 10. Let's move on to writing. Now, Timothy Zahn's a great writer. I know, controversial, right? So Zahn's prowess as a fiction writer has never been questioned by Star Wars fans or sci-fi fans in general, but somehow with Chaos Rising, almost 3 decades after he started his journey into the Star Wars Expanded Universe, he seems to be peaking. Or maybe he hasn't even peaked yet. So some folks found his previous canon Thrawn trilogy to be a little below the level of his previous Expanded Universe writing, but with this new book, it's clear that he's found his stride again. It's really fantastic. So without having to be tied to previously existing characters or planets, Zahn wields his pen, or to be more realistic, his keyboard, with the ferocity and accuracy of a fencing master. Because every piece of this story can be new, Zahn can fit the pieces into the puzzle exactly as he would like without being tied to previous plot points. The pure amount of creativity and originality within the writing of this book that is already in such an established universe is astounding. But he really executes brilliantly, and by the time we get to the final chapter of this book, you just want to turn back and dive back into this universe that he's created. Sometimes you just gotta let the puppet master make his own puppets. And so all of that is why our review team gave the writing for this book an 8.3. And finally, let's talk about entertainment. Now, I don't know if anyone had more fun reading this book than Timothy Zahn had while writing it, but if anyone did, it's definitely us at Youtini. So there have been a bunch of great, really punchy young adult novels recently, like Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston, or Poe Dameron Freefall by Alex Segura, but many of our more recent adult novels have been kind of slower burns. So the Alphabet Squadron books, for example, have been incredible, but you can't really just fly through chapters and chapters of emotional discovery and team building. So now on Outside, Chaos Rising has all of the features of kind of a slow burn novel. It's full of new lore, new characters, world building, but at the same time, it really just flies by. When I was reading this book, I just couldn't stop turning the pages. I didn't want to, it was so much fun. I wanted to know what new aspect of the chaos the characters were going to explore, who Zahn was going to introduce next. So the increased entertainment value compared with some of Zahn's other recent work kind of comes from the way he fleshes out these characters. When you're away from Thrawn for a little bit, the entertainment value doesn't lag because you're so intrigued by the characters he's created. There's action everywhere, and each new page demands the attention of the readers with the characters it discusses as they kind of explore and discover new facets of the chaos. So with all that, our review team gave entertainment an 8.7. And so with those ratings, the Youtini review team's official score for Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising is an 8.8 out of 10. It's a really good book. Chaos Rising is definitely the most fun we've ever had reading a Timothy Zahn novel, and it could even be his best work to date. The new characters populate the pages with intrigue, relationship building, action, and all of these plot points that Zahn is developing. The world he is building is only going to get more expansive and exciting as the trilogy goes on. So now, as of the date of this review, we don't know when the next book in the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy is going to be coming, but in the words of Speaker Thistrian, whatever Thrawn does next, at least it'll be entertaining to watch. So for more information on Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising, you can check out Youtini's official book profile over at youtini.com or the link in the description. And there you can find staff comments, user reviews, more information, and our affiliate link that you can use to buy the book and help out Youtini a little bit as we work to continue providing you better content and more up-to-date information on the Star Wars Expanded Universe. And if you're looking forward to Chaos Rising, but you need more friends to kind of share your excitement with, Youtini would love to have you at our vibrant and positive Discord community over at youtini.com/discord. And once the book releases, if you want to hear members of our team kind of dive deeper into it, you can check out the Living Force podcast. That airs live every Monday at 7 p.m. EST over at twitch.tv/Youtini_US. You can also catch the show wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.